In studio is Frank Gentile, and Frank is running for the county legislature in Oneida County. And what did you take issue with Tim Julian the other day?
I didn't take issue with it. It was something that he said.
Well, he said there's really no need for county legislators.
Right.
Why do we even have them if the town supervisors get all the supervisors together?
Exactly.
Monthly meeting that would solve it. There's no need for.
To be honest with you, Tim and I are friends and everything, and what he said is, in most instances, is right.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I just wanted to say something. I know you have a big night coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And I just had a question because I can't be there.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to give my little thing about that.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Okay, yeah.
Is it Keeler or Keller?
It's Keeler. Yeah, I hear the Keller thing a lot. I never understand that
because you've always asked,
is it Gentile or Gentile?
So I just wanted to know if is it Keeler or Keller?
Or Keller.
So
that's a good point.
So okay,
Thank
but
you.
anyways, but the whole thing
would that be your roast joke if you were there tomorrow night?
That was my little thing.
Okay.
So just
by the way, for the third time, is it Gentile or Gentile?
Gentile.
Okay,
sorry.
We keep doing this. We keep doing it.
You know,
well, he brought it up. So
again this morning. So you did say Gentile. So,
yeah.
but anyways, but what I was getting to with the whole Tim Julian thing is when he said it's actually true because when I decided to run, I was talking to my kids and I says, what actually does a county legislator do? Because the current county legislator, in a lot of respects, I haven't seen him really do anything. Now, when I decided to run, I'm not a passive person. So when Tim Julian did say that, I says, he's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
County legislators do not generally do a lot. I'm about to change that.
Okay,
one,
you feel that you will be different.
Yes.
Yeah.
One,
how? In which ways will you be different?
Well, one, I need to win, which I'm planning on doing.
Yep.
Okay, and then I plan on being very, very proactive. Okay, and I hope that Mr. Pacente is very amiable to that, because I will be talking to him a lot. I have a lot of ideas, a lot of things I want to do. One is term limits for county legislators. Okay?
Are there any term limits right now? I
No.
don't think there are any, right?
He's been in office for 31 years.
Okay.
Which I think is ridiculous. But when you don't have to do anything, I guess 31 years doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
So
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he will
take exception to that
statement. We'll give him the opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And so that's number one.
Yeah.
Now, I have talked to some of the current county legislators, and there's just so many times that they can change that. I believe when the consensus comes across, there's those times that they can do it. And at the last time, they had one in ready to.
Are you talking about legislation?
Legislation.
When they do the census, they redraw the lines.
Right.
And that was how we lost 6 legislators last time, was because they said we have too many, but it coincided with the census.
And then they can pass term limits.
Got it.
They had a bill ready to go into effect, and at the last minute, they decided not to pass that law.
All right.
So that would be something that I would definitely push to do the next time it comes up.
I do have to say, if I'm Pacente, I would not want to have term limits, and I'll just tell you why. Because he knows what he's working with, and you're always, even if there's some difficulty on the legislature, knowing what you're working with makes things easier. You know what you're dealing with, so I can understand why consistency would help would help someone like Tony Pacente.
Yes.
Now,
but it doesn't always help the
I
constituents in the
that.
county.
And why, though, then, do people just keep voting these people back in?
Well, because as Mr. Julian said, half of them don't even know.
Right.
I mean, as I'm walking the streets of North Utica, which is my district, okay, I'm asking them, do you know who your county legislator is? And
they don't know.
I have no clue.
Whose fault is that, though?
Well, I would think it's the people who are voting,
as well
number one,
as well as
and
the
number two, it's the person who's not being opposed 99% of the time.
Right.
Okay. So I mean,
you're not going in quietly here. So you're trying to make some noise.
I'm trying to. I'm walking the streets very.
So what else will you do differently? I mean, just rifle off a few things.
That's one. Number two is I will be out there have a lot of town meetings, a lot of meetings with my constituents, so they know that I'm there asking questions, what they want done, what they want to do. I will work very closely with the person in the Common Council, whether it be whoever. There's a very close fight now in the 6th Ward, so whoever that is, I'll work closely with them.
Yeah.
Work with the other county legislators. They may not like that idea because, again, I'm going to be pushing them as well. Work closely with Mr. Pacente. I'm very, very high on drugs. I've seen so many of the people.
Okay. Rephrase that. Rephrase
Let's,
that.
Let's take
you
that
said
out.
You're high on drugs.
Could you edit that out for me? We'll
area. I'm sorry.
Be a real parody on you coming up later on the internet.
I'm sorry, Frank.
Yeah, Frank Gentile just said I'm really high on drugs. He said it on the air. I heard him say it this morning. I heard it. Here, listen.
So many people I've coached
yes.
in sports that have died because of overdoses and drugs.
It is. We were talking about it this morning.
Yeah,
it is just horrible.
I've had to look so many of the parents in the eyes
and a lot
as
of
I've gone to
comes
weights
from
and stuff.
Sports injuries, and they get hooked on the pain medication.
And a lot of them is because doctors are prescribing drugs when they've gone because of the stuff that they've had to do because of accidents and stuff. From sports injuries,
right?
So I think it's a correlation between the doctors prescribing medications, and then once they've gone off the medications, then they're getting hooked on other drugs because they don't get those from the doctors anymore. So
maybe you would want to pass legislation locally
to see what we can do with the pharmacists, the doctors, and everything to see how we can take care of those needs once they're past off the medications, what we can do.
Oh, so programs that could be done locally. Okay.
For those.
Right.
So just to be devil's advocate here, and I don't want to throw a monkey wrench, but at the county level, could you legislate something like that? Because then you'd run into a situation where if I was hurt in Oneida County, there's a new law, but I could get a prescription in Herkimer County.
I think what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I was about to say, well, really, that's more of a state issue. But
I think it's going to be a local, county, state issue.
But kind of what you're talking about, too, is working with programs that could actually assist, and that's something you could see come out with a partnership with the county, the state.
I think it's also going to be a law enforcement issue, too.
Right. Okay, interesting. I want to leave with this, and I think did I do this the last time you were in? I'm not sure, but are you Italian?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell me, just to be fair, first of all, Keeler. Who would say Keller, right?
Well, several people do.
I understand that. Gentile. Is that the correct spelling of your name?
Yes, it is.
That could be pronounced two different ways. But my question, that's Gentile.
Three different ways.
How many different ways in your own family? Because I find this a lot with Italian families where one brother pronounces it the old-fashioned way, and the other brothers know, I go this way. So is there any of that in your family?
Of course.
Of course there is.
Yes. My sister,
you wonder why I'm confused.
My
your own family can't get it right.
My two sisters and brother, of course, because they were born before me.
Yes.
And didn't go to school and aren't as educated as I.
Right.
Okay, pronounce it Gentile.
I got it.
Okay, but me being the most educated of the four of us, pronounce it Gentile the right way.
So this is certainly an issue for you within your family. And when I call you Gentile,
and as I call you Keller,
that really, really bothers you. All right, I've enjoyed this. Again, I think it's like deja vu. We did this all over again here. So let's see if I remember this time.
And Gentile. I'm not pushing drugs.
And you're not. We at least won't take that.
There you go.
Clip out of context. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Frank. We appreciate it. Good luck. We will be speaking with your opponent and see what he has to say.